everyone, and welcome to another game of Warships. Today it's one of my replays and I'm in the Kurfürst at your 10 German battleship. I'm on the map Estuary, and yes, Estuary is still used for tier 10 ships because... Anyway, so... 4-point domination game, and there is an Asasho inside the Aetam. Our Stalingrad has raided, and we briefly saw the Asasho. Unfortunately, the raider is over. I managed to get a little bit of damage into it, and I'm obviously hydroing. Asasho is a very dangerous foe for a battleship, because it has a lot of very stealthy, hard-hitting torps. So we only briefly saw it. I'm trying to get some shells off there. Not sure if that's gonna work, and well, I got one overpen, and a little bit of an interrupt. Now I've made it into cover. We see one set of torps, but there are obviously more, and Asasho also has a reload booster. Now our Yugumo is here a little bit on the outskirts, which is kind of a shame, because an Asasho can't torpedo a Yugumo, right? And again, maybe the Yugumo isn't using a smoke screen. Like the Asasho does outspot the Yugumo by, what was it? Maybe 100, 200 meters or something like that? I mean, I forgot those numbers. So, the Yugumo does have quite a bit of help with ships in general, even though it doesn't have a radar helping it. So maybe the Yugumo is afraid if it doesn't have a smoke screen, if it goes in there and the Asasho spots it, that it will be pummeled. Which I guess makes a bit of sense, but it's just a shame, right? Because the Asasho can torpedo the Yugumo, and there is no radar, so if the Yugumo just sits in there, it can essentially contest it for eternity, right? And the only thing the Asasho can do is charge in and spot it the old-fashioned way. And considering that the enemy isn't that aggressive, I think we could have not just prevented the enemy from taking this camp, but maybe even took it ourselves. There is that. Now on the other side we have for some reason an Akisuki here in the center. We have a Mecklenburg also still in the spawn, and then we have barely any ships on the right side that are in retreat. And again, the enemy doesn't have too many ships there either, so I'm not sure what's happening over there, to be honest. Now meanwhile, I got a decent hit into the Schlieffen, and there really isn't that much I can do here because, well, for one, oh, the Asasho is dead. Nice. So the Asasho has been taken care of, which means the Yugumo can now go in and take that camp. So where was I? Yes. I can't really do much here because the enemy has a large blob there. And I mean, I can't charge a Schlieffen, a Poison, a Colorado. There's the Yamato probably backing them up, 2 Mogamis. So I can't really go in there brawling, and it's not really needed because we are taking the camp anyway. Now I have 2 options. I can either like stick around here and shoot them some more, or I could go and reinforce the other side. Now our other side does need some help, but there are still quite a few enemies here. It's a bit weird because the enemy team isn't really doing much, and somebody is pinging us here. Yeah, we are, I mean, captured the area. That's the destroyer's job, and the destroyer is currently doing his job, so there is that. I mean, the Yugumo is taking A. I would have liked it to contest it sooner, but ultimately the Yugumo is doing its job, so that's good news. There really isn't much I can do to cap this, and once again, there are just... It's not like there are only 2 enemy ships or so that are running away. There is a large enemy fleet in front of us, right? And I can't charge them by myself, or at least it would be relatively dangerous. I can go a little bit forward with those islands, maybe, because there is still some cover on the way. And maybe I can... Like, if I could sink that Mogami, for example, that would be nice. I'm not sure, like... Yeah, the Mogami is already turning a different way. For example, if we could take care of that Mogami here, that would be fantastic. And somebody did. But there is still a battleship fleet. Is the Poison coming closer? Maybe I can engage then if it gets away from its allies there. Oh, is it already turning away again? I think the Poison is already running again. Now, we hold a cap, the enemy holds a cap, and we are actually ahead on points. So,
I need intelligence data.
Unless, of course, the points are actually buggy. Wait, Okay, it's hard to say in the replay who was ahead at points at this part of the game, to be honest, because the points section is usually buggy in replays, or very often. So there is then. It's still tough for me to decide what to do, because if I charge in and my team doesn't follow, I'll just get slaughtered. And if I turn around and go back and leave those ships alone, who knows what they are going to do. So I'm just playing this carefully, because it's... Keep in mind, there are still a lot of ships around on both sides. There is still a lot of time left, and we are like equal on points and ships, so like caps and ships. So there is no reason to do anything too drastic. At least not yet. And I am slowly making my way forward, but I'm trying to keep those islands as a potential option for retreat. Now the Mogami is coming back. And the Colorado is getting closer. So as I slowly made my way forward, the enemy has lost a few ships there. And now we're gonna try to spank the Mogami. Also using my secondaries on it. The spanking has unfortunately not yet happened. And it's still not happening. So many citadels that could have happened but didn't. Well, the secondaries got it, so there is that. Okay, now we have the Colorado trying to run away and the Schlieffen trying to run away. Now this is still a pretty close game. We are now taking a third cap, so that is good news. Because it will give us a buffer. Right, so if it's very close on ships, then having the advantage in caps is obviously really nice. Because it puts the pressure on the enemy team to do something. Now there are only 2 enemy ships here remaining, and one of them is a Colorado, so I am pushing in now. Trying to get my secondaries involved here. I'm also popping a Hydro because Schlieffen does have reasonably long-range torpedoes. Schlieffen could easily reach me here with torps, so I need to be prepared. And Schlieffen also has some very good angles. I'm actually shooting the Schlieffen here because it shows my broadside. Also the Colorado was getting torpedoed, so there is that. Didn't get the best hit there into the Schlieffen, but we did some damage. Now I'm trying to turn to use the rear guns, and I'm not sure if I'm turning a bit too much. There is obviously an island in front of me. So, I mean, it's also the angling allows my secondaries to all be involved, which is very helpful. Unfortunately, the Schlieffen is nearly out of secondary range, but it sinks before it can really get away. Now we are looking pretty well, right? Because, and yeah, it's the points are the wrong way around. We are the ones with the points lead. So we have the usual points bug in replays. Now, we have more ships, we have more caps, we have more points. It's looking pretty good. I'm also still relatively healthy here. And I might need to speed this up slightly. We are losing C, but that's fine. That should be just fine. If we lose C, we still have a ship's lead and we still have a points lead. We're just equalizing on caps, and yeah, here we have the Cerberus with the weird camo that makes no sense. So, the question is, what is the enemy team up to? Obviously, one of them just took C. We have some people here coming through the channel. My idea is, right, I could have gone here towards B, but they have taken C, so we know there is an enemy here. And if I go here into the center, I can essentially then react to each cap. I could still come around and help B. I could still just push into C. So I feel like this is the perfect position to help out everywhere. Okay, so there is the Moskva, but the Moskva is, I guess, waiting behind this island. We have the Montana coming in here through the center. There is also the Yamato, and Yeah, we will see. The Yamato is a bit broadside, but if we could take care of the Montana here, it would be huge. So I'm switching my secondaries, and I've lost vision. Maybe I should have launched the plane here, probably. That could have helped. So the Montana is very low, and unfortunately it's healing, and this salvo didn't do much. So I could have slowed down more, tried to focus on the Montana. I've decided to go forward here and help our Yamato. So our Yamato has moved a little bit too far forward, and then it has made the mistake of stopping right in front of the Moskva, who can probably just keep farming in. It's difficult to say if I did the right thing here, because if I had stopped there and helped against the Montana, it might have been very good, but I need it here as well. This is escalating quickly because each side has only 3 ships remaining. Now the good news is the Moskva should not be able to citadel me. It can at best get penetrations, although the O's hurt. So I'm trying to angle a bit as I'm coming around. My secondaries are helping. The Moskva could have gone for a ram, and it's trying to aim for my guns, it looks like. So I'm pulling a repair here. I can go through the upper part of the nose. That shouldn't be a problem. The rear guns should get this fixed. And now we have the Yamato coming up. Now, the Kurfürst has a Yamato-proof nose, which means if I'm actually fully nose in, the Yamato can't really do that much. Well, it can aim for my guns, which it did, which is a shame. But it just fired, right? So now I'm gonna get the citadels, and I'm gonna swing around and use my rear guns, hopefully before it reloads, because it can still get upper belt pens, which would be bad. And there we go. So the Yamato has been taken care of. And with that, this should pretty much be over. The Cerberus is the only ship they have left. We are doing fine on points, because keep in mind our points are actually the 800. And I'm now taking the sea cap. We can also speed this up a little bit, because yeah, I currently can't really engage this. I mean, I could, if I were to zoom in, maybe I could have lost some shares between this little gap there. I don't think so. We've lost our Cerberus. At this point, I could just sit here and wait, right? It's 4 minutes left, we have the points, and we have the cap zones. If I had just turned around and went to J1, it would have been a guaranteed victory. There is absolutely nothing the enemy could have done to win this, but it would also be slightly boring. And I guess I'm confident enough to move forward. I do have 1 Hydro remaining. Like, the Cerberus isn't going to burst me down with guns. It might torpedo me, so that could happen. And we have 2 ships remaining, but obviously, right, if it torpedoes us both, then there is still a chance to lose. Now, because there isn't that much time left, as you can see, I mean, maybe I hydroed slightly early. You can see there is a little bit more game left than there is hydro time left, but hydro will remain for almost the entire duration. And there is the Cerberus. Now, usually, you might just... like, if I wouldn't have hydro running, I would have just turned away at this point, because I need to be wary of the incoming torps. But with the hydro, I felt confident. I wanted to use my front guns as well. And I didn't need to. So, yeah, there is the fish. But the fish is too late, and this is a win. Well, this turned out to be a good Kurfürst game. It was a little bit slow early on, but my caution paid off, I think. And in the end, we prevailed. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.